Hey everyone, I am Carly Heath, and this is my thing where I talk about the astrological transits that are coming up, in this case, for the week of February 11th. Actually, I'm going all the way through February 19th because there's a few things that happen in the 18th and 19th that are going to be relevant to this week. And so I'm talking about the astrological transits and how they are going to be affecting your writing career or your career in the publishing industry. And so we have some really interesting things happening this week that are going to be useful, but we also have, just like always, we have challenges. So the main challenge is that Mercury is in Pisces, and Mercury doesn't like being in Pisces. And this is going to make communication kind of difficult, which is definitely relevant to the publishing industry, since many of you are writers who are querying, and you want your work to be perceived in the best light possible. And there can be challenges at work if Mercury is in a sign where it's making communication kind of difficult and unclear, and your messages may be perceived in a way that maybe you aren't intending them to be perceived. And so I'm not saying that this is a time where if you're querying, you should just give up. But I'm saying if you feel like this is speaking to you in a way that makes you think, maybe I'm going to hold off on sending my stuff out just now, and I'm going to spend some time kind of revising and getting feedback from others, and also kind of getting those downloads on new works in progresses, that might be a really good strategy for you. Like I said, never kind of let your life be run just because there's kind of challenging things happening in the sky, but you can kind of let it inform how you're feeling. And if you're starting to feel like, yeah, my instincts are kind of saying this is not a really good time to be sending my stuff out, and Carly, you're kind of confirming this with what you're saying about Mercury, then go with that. Your instincts are what's really important. Now, my doggie is always just off screen. Isn't that fun? So something else that's happening this week is a really, really important transit. Chiron is changing signs, which doesn't happen very often. And it's going from Pisces to Aries. Now, Chiron moved into Pisces in 2010. So think back to 2010 and think back to how your life has changed since 2010. Now, Chiron is, it's not quite an asteroid, it's not quite a planet, it's kind of this weird object in the sky that has rings and has a really weird orbit. So it goes through some signs really fast and it goes through other signs really slow. And it's called the Wounded Healer because it's named after the centaur in Greek mythology, who was this wise centaur, and he got shot in the air with an arrow in his leg and gave up his immortality. But Chiron is said to help heal things. It's also said to kind of be the wound that will kind of never heal in your life. But as it goes through signs, it does sort of heal areas in your life, but not without a little bit of challenges. Sometimes when it goes retrograde while it's going through signs, there can be difficulties and there can be injuries that come up. For instance, when Chiron retrograded back into Pisces in my 6th house, which is the house of not only work and health, but also small animals, my little doggie got sick. Wounded healer, okay? Luckily, she's all better now. But Chiron might be healing an area of your life. And I think this is going to be especially relevant for those of you who are Aries rising, because this is your 1st house and this is dealing with your identity and how you sell yourself. And, like if you're a writer or an agent and you're like either trying to sell your own work or you're trying to sell, your client's work, this might be healing a perception about yourself that will make your kind of salesmanship skills maybe a little bit better. Now, this is also going to be really useful for Aquarius rising people. So if you're an Aquarius rising and you've had any challenges with communication, writing, maybe you've been stuck on something and your words haven't been coming out as you want them to, Chiron might be healing some area in your writing. And for Cancer rising people, this is affecting your 10th house, which is your house of public image and your house of career. So you might start to see that, maybe you've always had this kind of difficulty getting your career to go just in the direction that you want it to go. Chiron might come along and heal whatever it is that was kind of wounding your public image. And Gemini rising people, 11th house, if you've had any difficulties with friends or groups that you're belonging to, Chiron might come along and heal those things. Now, something else that's happening, so that's happening on February 18th. Something else that's happening is on February 15th, just a few days earlier this week, Mars is entering Taurus. And Mars has been in Aries for a little while, and now it's entering Taurus, and it's going to be there for about 40 days. And Mars doesn't really do well in Taurus, so you might start to feel, this is applying to everyone, your drive, your momentum is starting to calm down a little bit, and maybe you're not feeling as motivated as you were when Mars was in Aries. I would say don't worry. Especially for writers. So Mercury is going into Pisces, and Mars is in Taurus. So if your word counts are going down, if you're not getting responses from agents as much as you were before, this isn't a time to despair and just, because these transits are happening, that means you're failing at life. It just means that this is a temporary thing, and there's an opportunity here to use these energies to, instead of being very proactive and getting those word counts out and getting those query letters out and subbing and doing all that, this might be a time to kind of sit and meditate and think about what you want to work on next, what revisions might be needed in your current manuscripts, and just kind of understand, let those images come to you. And so then what we are also dealing with this week is, I think this is the big one, and I think this is what I'm going to talk about and kind of end here for this week, is February 19th, the full moon in Virgo. So this is a culmination. This is it might be a really beneficial time for you, and it might also reveal something to you, because full moons reveal. This might reveal something to you that has been previously hidden. So you might get an inspirational download about your work, about what you're doing in your career, about any blockages that you're experiencing. And that will occur on February 19th. So that's a good day, when you go out and you see the full moon. Or actually, I should look and see if we're actually going to be able to see this full moon. But kind of sit and think about what the universe might be bringing to you with this full moon. Think about your work, and, don't try to be pushing and be I have to get this done. Just kind of sit and let the energies kind of come to you, right? Now, this full moon is, I'll go through the signs and kind of talk about how it's going to be affecting you. So Libra rising people, this full moon is happening in your 12th house. And this is related to, this could either be related to that kind of internal, introspective, spiritual side of yourself, or it could be your house of hidden enemies. So you might learn that maybe someone is deceiving you, maybe a friend is not actually a friend. And this is something that, you will come to you when you're just kind of like sitting in the space with the full moon and thinking on it, right? You're not going to suddenly get like an email that's like, your friends hate you. Not that's not really going to happen, but you're going to get a little bit more intuitive about whatever it might be happening in your life on a personal level, on like a inner introverted, like deeper spiritual level. And it's not going to be a huge explosion is what I'm saying. Scorpio rising people, this is going to be happening in your 11th house, which is your house of friends and groups. So if you've been trying to make some developments with friends or groups, or something related to groups and friends is going to be revealed to you. So see how that pans out. Sagittarius, this is your 10th house. So this is related to your career. And so this full moon in Virgo is going to be revealing something about your career. So you might very well receive a very surprising, happy email about something good happening for you. But it can also, there is that tendency, it could be something kind of negative. But if you've been working on something for the last 18 months and you've been really pushing for something related to your career in the last 18 months, this might be coming to fruition for you now, which is very good. Capricorn rising people, this is happening in your 9th house, which is the house that deals with higher education, long distance travel, foreign languages, foreign cultures, learning. So you might be learning something new. If you were working towards something in the last 18 months related to higher education or learning something new, this might be coming to culmination and fruition for you now. Aquarius, this is happening, Aquarius rising people, this is happening in your 8th house of karmic debts, monetary debts, other people's money, and also intimacy. This also deals with death and taboos and all sorts of kind of a little bit scary stuff. But you might be learning at this time maybe something related to your taxes, either a happy thing where you're getting a refund, or a not so happy thing where, oh no, you're going to actually be owing something. Or someone who has been owing you money is going to be finally paying you back. Pisces people, this is going to be affecting your 7th house, which is your house of relationships and partnerships, both business and romantic. So you might be having a big development or a big culmination in your relationships or your business partnerships. Aries rising people, this is affecting your 6th house, which is your house of work and your house of health. It also deals with small animals. So you might be having something related to your work or your health come to fruition, culmination, resolution at this time. Taurus and Taurus rising people, this is happening in your 5th house, which is your house of fun, children, and this is very useful for those Taurus rising people who write for children or illustrate for children. This might be a good, happy development with one of your creative projects. And Gemini, this full moon in Virgo, is happening in your 4th house, which is your house of home and family. So you might have something related to real estate, something related to your family, something related to your household, your roots coming to culmination and fruition at this time. Cancer, this is happening in your 3rd house, which is very good for writers, which is the house of communication. So you might be receiving some good news, some good communication today, or you might be finishing a work in progress or suddenly get a really, really good idea on how to fix or revise your work in progress. Leo and Leo rising people, this is happening in your 2nd house. This is also a really happy house because it's the house of money. So you might be getting either some new income source happening, which is very good and very promising, or something related to money is going to be revealed to you on the 19th, just kidding. And Virgo rising people, this is happening in your 1st house. So this is very, very useful for anyone who is selling something, because this is your house of identity. This is your house of how other people perceive you. So anytime something good happens in the 1st house, I say, this is a good time for agents because you guys are selling things. This is a good time for writers if you are if you are meeting people one-on-one in person and having meetings with people because your self-image is looking really good. So anytime, full moon in your first house happens, this is a good day to be out there because you are shining bright and making a really good impression on people. Well, I hope this is helpful for you. Please do let me know if there's anything you guys want from me, astrologically speaking, or in these videos, or any questions that you have, or if you want to find out your rising sign and you're not sure how to do that, contact me. I'm happy to help you. If you have feedback, constructive criticism about my videos, I am totally on board to receiving your constructive criticism. So, email me, find me on Twitter, comment in the comments, like, share, and if you want to see more of these videos, definitely subscribe so that you can be notified every time they happen, and you can also hit the little bell that's right next to the subscribe button after you subscribe to receive those notifications. Okay, thank you guys so much, and I will see you next week.